Hi, my name is Christy, and I would like to talk to you today about genetically modified things, which are putting things together, putting DNA together that God did not put together. He calls them Nephilim. He calls that what is Nephilim? Fallen. It can be rotten, not right, not the way he had it. Anyway, so chimeras are animal hybrids. God said throughout the Old Testament and the law and things, he talked quite a bit about, I don't want you to mix seeds together. He's not talking about, bettering your corn seed or whatever. He's talking about mixing the DNA of mixing corn with wheat or something like that, or with fish. Anyways, and he was trying to make a point. He didn't even want them wearing linen with wool, because linen is from flax and wool is from the sheep, and that is mixing two different things. And it was to make a point. It was about mixing things, because the reason that the flood happened was because DNA was being mixed. The sons of God came down here and saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took wives of them. So the sons of God are the angels. They are they're angels, and they're not human. They're beasts. And they came down here, and they had these children that were the mighty men of old, men of renown, okay, also called Nephilim. They're also in other books outside of the Bible. They're talked of quite a bit. And some of the stuff they did was eating. They eat people and things, and also they were sinning. I think it was in Jasher, as they talked about before the flood. They sinned not just against human, but against beasts, other animals, cows, and things like that, and animals or plants and things like that. So they were mixing genes of these other things. So it wasn't just with humans. So there was a lot of genetic manipulation that was happening before the flood, and that's pretty much why God sent the flood. He is really against things that he didn't intend. And I think there's a good point about that, and maybe I'll talk about that. Tom Horn has a good book, Apollyon Rising 2012, and it's really, really quite good. And he had a theory that makes sense, that God has an order, and it's a very good order. And when things are born, like a dog that has dog DNA and dog DNA, a mix of dogs, so it's a dog. And so when this dog conceives, she has dogs in her. And that conception, that puppy inside, at conception, the spirit of a dog will go into that little dog, that puppy. Now, if you have and they know this, the humans go into human spirit, and the spark, whatever, goes into its kind. It's after its own kind. So, and this is Tom Horn's kind of theory, that if you have a mix of something that is like human and, let's say, let's say goat and spider, okay, because they're doing that. Something like that, a goat and spider. So will the spirit of a goat or a spirit of a spider go into it? Well, neither one. They won't, no. And so that leaves that kind of, I guess maybe it would be the soul that he's talking about more than the spirit. But anyway, that leaves it without a soul, which leaves it open for demons who are the disembodied souls of the Nephilim that died in the flood. See, their bodies died because they were of the earth, but they were also of the heaven. Their fathers were angels. And so that's why God, there's nothing in his plan for these things, and so they're demons. And that's where demons come from. And I don't know if you've studied that out at all, but boy, it's a big study, and it is true. Biblical confirmation, there's extra biblical that doesn't go against the Bible, and in some cases, Jesus quotes, Enoch and Jasher, whatever. I'm not going to talk about that right now, about the different books. But anyways, so it's very fascinating study, these things. I'm not even sure where was I. Anyway, that was Tom Horn's theory, was that these things would be not have souls, and so the demons who are looking for bodies would easily come into them. Okay, and it's an interesting theory on that. He makes some good points. But I'd like to talk about some different things that they're doing now, and these are things that we hear about. So you got to imagine what the black labs, the black op type things that, and the black budget for these type of things from our governments and from other labs around the world that we don't know about. Okay. And that they're mixing humans, and there's a lot of talk that DARPA, which is the Defense Advanced Research, whatever, our super secret scientists have super soldiers, and that they're not quite human. So that's kind of interesting, and well, in times it does sound about right too. So because that army out of the abyss and Joel's army isn't human. Fascinating. But anyways, here's some of the stuff in the news that you can tell that they're doing. So you wonder what else they're doing. But anyways, this is the stuff that's in the news that's scary and weird enough. Glow-in-the-dark pigs make debut. Let's see, this was 2006. Pigs still may not fly, but in one Taiwanese laboratory, they glow in the dark. A research team at National Taiwan University claims it has succeeded in breeding 3 male green pigs by injecting fluorescent green protein into embryonic pigs. Alright, partial green pigs exist elsewhere. You can see that they are glowing from within. So you can Google that and find that out. Synthetic biology and the rise of spider goats. Okay, they're making spider goats. Freckles looks like a perfectly normal kid. She has bright eyes, a healthy white pelt, and gambols happily with Pudding, Sweetie, and her 5 other siblings. I have a goat named Sweetie, except she's a goat, not a spider goat. Exactly as you might imagine young goats do. Until I fend her off, she's very keen on chewing my trousers. To the casual observer and to goat herd, she shows no sign that she is not a perfectly normal farmyard goat. But Freckles is a long way from normal. She is an extraordinary creation, an animal that could not have existed at any point in history before the 21st century. Well, they sure do, think much of themselves, don't they? Because this kind of stuff went on a long, long time ago. Anyways, she is all goat, but she has something extra in every one of her cells. Freckles is also part spider. Chimera. This is what we can now do. They're very proud of this. This is what we can now do with genetics, extreme crossbreeding. If 20th century biology was about taking living things apart to find out how they work, the current era is defined by putting them back together, but not necessarily as evolution decreed. Well, Evolution didn't decree anything. God did. So, and certainly without the clumsy constraints of mating. Oh no, well, spiders don't mate with goats, and yeah. Freckles is the result of genetic engineering, but our mastery of manipulating DNA has evolved into an even more extreme form of tinkering, broadly called synthetic biology. Nice. Anyways, you can look that up yourself to read more about the travesty that is these poor little goats. The next thing is, let's see. Human genes in rice. Okay. Rice with human genes will soon be grown in Kansas. So do you want to eat people? I mean, you're eating, maybe that's, is it a stretch? I don't know. Human genes in rice, okay? Rice with human genes will soon be grown in Kansas. Rice engineered to contain human genes will be grown for the first time outdoors instead of in a laboratory, bringing it one step closer to commercial production. So they're going to feed you this rice with human genes. Okay? That kind of stuff is, well, I don't think it's a good idea. I know it's not a good idea because God said it wasn't a good idea and not to do it. Also, I read something recently. I can't quite remember it. They're putting human DNA in cows to produce some kind of, I think it's a vaccine or something. Anyway, so they have these cows with human DNA. This is where we're at in history, and God will not tolerate it for very long. He does not put up with that, which is wonderful for us who can't wait for Jesus' return, are looking tippy-toe out the window for him to come. Anyways, so it's good news that he'll be coming back. It's bad news that they're doing these horrid things to animals and plants and things that God never intended. And they seem to think that somehow this makes them like God, that to do that. But see, they're taking something God has already made and he had a plan for, and have just destroyed it. And it really makes me sad about like these goats, and all these animals that they've mixed together with other animals. It's not right. God said not to do it, and they're doing it with people, and he will stop it, which is, thank you, God. Anyways, that was about that, and there's a lot more about that. Transhumanism is a study that you might be interested in. Tom Horn does a lot of that, and he's fascinating. What transhumanism has to do with people and how they want to move us to the post-human era, yeah, and make cyborgs. They talk about things. I mean, these people are serious. They are serious about this stuff. They get it. They're getting to a point now where I kind of think that they're able to, what I'm reading, that they're able to take a grown person and inject them with a DNA of other animals, another animal, and change our DNA when we're already grown. And that's kind of what it appears that happened with, maybe it happened with Nimrod, that he became he became different, and it's not quite. Anyways, Tom Horn has a lot about that, and it's fascinating. We'll do more on that at some point, but I think that we're in that period again that we were, where we're mixing DNA, and and they found oh gosh, a lot of mummy DNA that they found that they can bring back some of these men who lived thousands of years ago. So that's a fascinating thing. Anyways, I love you and thank you for sharing your time with me. I'll talk to you later.